Hello and welcome to Driven by Doing another episode. Today we have Sabber Ahmad from Nashville. Sabber, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Sabber, I have known you for quite some time now, and today I wanted to deep dive into your story. And originally, Sabber is from Bangladesh, and he graduated from University of Memphis. Since we went to school together, I kind of like know him for quite some time, and we also recently met again during a conference in Nashville a couple of years ago. And since then, we were talking for like a few months, and Shabir has done a fantastic job throughout his career, and also now working on a startup idea which I wanted to discuss in this episode as well. Sabir, once again, welcome to the show, and let's begin. So where do you want to start? So I know you're from Bangladesh and you came to Memphis, so let's begin your story from there. So you came to Memphis back in 2013, is that correct? So
Yeah, I came to here in USA in 2013 from Bangladesh. So initially, I came here for the my master's program, and I thought that I'm gonna go some other big cities after my completion master's. But I fall in love with Memphis, and fall in love with the University of Memphis. So I
go
decided, okay,
Tigers.
yeah. So I decided not to go to other university or other cities. So I stuck to the University of Memphis and converted my master's into PhD. So yeah, so this is how I kind of started my graduate life here in University of Memphis.
Yeah, so since you're from Bangladesh, so once you completed your bachelor's, did you work back in your country before coming here?
Um, I worked there for 6 months for a non-profit organization, but yeah, that is not formal, kind of informal work.
Got
Yeah,
it. Okay. So do you always wanted to come to the United States for your education?
I always, even when I got into my school, like back in Bangladesh undergrad, I always wanted to know that I have to go to USA because they have the good research facilities, good kind of everything. So I was determined all the time.
That's amazing. So that's great to hear how you got motivated to come to the US because of its research facilities. So you did your PhD in computational geophysics. Is that your undergrad, master's too?
My master's was in geophysics. It was not heavily computational, but it's the other side of geophysics. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, and now currently you're working as a data scientist. So that's quite an interesting way to get into a data field, especially I think even in computational geophysics, you had a lot of experience working with data. So is that what kind of like helped you transition into the data science role?
Actually, you are right. And in order to explain my data science journey, I have to tell you about a little bit more. I have to go a little bit more back in time. So when I applied to the University of Memphis, like Center for Earthquake Research and Information, I got rejected the first time. It's because like I didn't have any mathematics background. So they told me, Sabir, you do not have any math background. So why don't you do another master's in mathematics and then apply? So I feel kind of surprised. Oh my gosh, again, I have to do masters in mathematics. So, but after a couple of days, I feel kind of motivated. Okay, I have to do a mathematics because if I go to USA, somehow I have to do mathematics and programming. So since I do not know, so I got into admission into another university in Bangladesh after my master's in geophysics. So I almost completed another master is called applied mathematics. So after I completed applied mathematics, again I applied to the university here, and at the time they accepted me.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so that mathematics program and the University of Memphis has heavily mathematics, and the physics program kind of helped me to shape my data science pathway. Yeah, so those are the kind of like key things kind of help me very much.
That's great. Now that like you got the admission and you successfully completed the program a couple of years back, and now you started working in Nashville area. So that's an awesome story. Like now how it kind of like went through those transitions over a period of like 7-8 years almost.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a long journey. But like how did you feel like once coming out of college with your PhD and now you started looking for jobs? So is that an easy transition for you, or do you have to like go through a phase where you are still trying to figure out what is the next thing that you wanted to do?
So during my PhD, I realized that AI is going to be the next thing. So, so during my third year of my PhD program, and I started thinking that why don't I take a couple of courses from online and take machine learning courses and see if I like it,
Hmm.
and see if I can also kind of apply those AI techniques into my geophysics field.
Hmm.
So this is how I got motivated by myself. So I, even though I didn't take any kind of formal courses from the University of Memphis, I kind of self-taught myself all the machine learning tools. And then I discussed with my supervisor and I told them, hey, I kind of know this sort of machine learning and AI things, and I think it'd be very cool if we apply this kind of techniques to solve geophysical problems. And my supervisor, he's also got motivated, and he kind of then helped me to apply all of these machine learning tools to solve earthquake problem. And kind of I kind of applied machine learning to predict whether the earthquake is going to break the whole fault or not. And interestingly, this paper has been published, and I got also invited to different kind of conferences to give them a talk about this paper, because that was the very first thing that in the entire geophysics community where I applied machine learning to solve the earthquake rupture problem.
Hmm.
So this is how I kind of familiarized myself with the geophysics and machine learning and different kind of tools. And it helped me eventually to get the data science or machine learning job.
That is amazing, Shabar, how you kind of like just learn based upon your interest. And you mentioned that you kind of like have seen that AI and machine learning are the next big things that are going to happen. And even though that's not entirely your area,
Right.
like you got motivated to learn by yourself and then apply to geophysics, which also helped you to like give these talks at like different conferences to really help other people know how this can be applied, which has never been applied before. So that's so motivating to me just to hear how you kind of like took that learning experience to apply in a different area, because that's how you learn, right? Like you always experiment with like different things, and you kind of like blended both the topics that you're interested in learning. And now let's kind of like transition into your startup phase. I'm super fascinated with the work that you're already doing now. Shabir is also a founder of a startup called Xoolooloo. And now let's talk about how he got started and what motivated him to start the startup. So now let's start with the beginning story, Shabir. Like back in 2014, what happened? What was going through your mind to come up with this idea? Like what motivated you back then?
That's a very interesting question, and I feel kind of emotional when people ask me this type of question. It's because like back in when I was doing my PhD, I was in visa program. I was not even immigrant, so I was a F1 student here in USA. But even in my mind, I always wanted to do something different. So there is a one entrepreneurship center at the University of Memphis. I always went there and talked to the one of the mentor, Mike, there. And he was so helpful and he was telling story all the time. And I got motivated, like, okay, so this is USA and I could take the advantage being here, because if I have the idea and if I have the creativity, I could make the next big thing. So this is how I got the idea of Xoolooloo. So actually, even before Xoolooloo, I had another idea, but for some reason it didn't work out. So I started working with the Xoolooloo. So Xoolooloo is kind of location-based app that kind of connect locals based off of your interest. Since it's a location and my background is geology, so geology is kind of like geophysical or geological information or geographic information. So I always wanted to work with the location-based or geologic or geo kind of information kind of thing. So this is how I got the idea about the Xoolooloo. Okay, I have to do something with the location. And the idea came to my mind and I started working on that in 2014. Yeah.
Got it. So now you kind of decided that, hey, I'm already doing my PhD or research in this area. because I'm already interested in this space. Because that's one thing that I kind of like see across, common across all the founders, is like they are so fascinated with the thing that they are interested in, and they kind of like see the problems. When they see something, they see a problem which they can solve, and that is something that they're passionate about. Like whenever there is a match between the founder interest and passion and the problem that they wanted to solve, you always see successful startups, right? Now you kind of had that figured out. Hey, I already knew this area, and I wanted to get this problem solved. Like what exactly was the problem, and how did you identify that?
The problem is very simple. The problem is like, look, so we have a professional platform like LinkedIn. So all the professional people, they go there, right? We have a friend networking social site, for example, Facebook. We go there to make friends. How about for my wife who makes catering? For example, my wives can make catering, right? Who does catering and who could do sell her food. But where does she tell? Okay, I wanted to sell my food, and if you have any kind of small event, just let me know. So there is no any kind of platform for her to go. So she always asks around, hey, do you know somebody who I could help with something like that. So the problem is there are some a lot of low skill and mid skill people. They don't have platform. For example, like there are a lot of people who remove junks from the home, right? So they couldn't go to the LinkedIn just to tell, hey, I'm a junk remover, or I could, for example, like I'm very expert in wood crafting, right? I know the wood crafting. So where do I not gonna tell them I know wood crafting? I don't have any platform to say or to find any customers. So this is where my idea comes in, and I just wanted to say, okay, why don't we bring this type of low skill, medium skill, or freelancer into one platform and find their customers themselves, so that customers, people always know, okay, if I go there, I would find catering, I would find woodcrafter, I would find, or any kind of small kind of work. I would find car mechanic who would come to my home and fix my car. So this sort
Wow.
of, and this would be very helpful for, especially for a student too. A lot of students wanted to do tutor, right? But they don't have very good space to find a customer. So why don't we bring all of these students here and and define their skill sets on my profile, on their profile, and the user will find them. Okay, I need a Spanish tutor, I need a math tutor, physics tutor. Now we have the platform, and people would be able to come in here and find any kind of skill sets nearby.
Mhm. And thanks for sharing the whole background, Shabbar, because that really helps the viewers or the audience who are listening to this. Because yes, because there are a lot of platforms like, LinkedIn's and Facebook's just for like, social networking, and you're absolutely right. For those people who are looking for customers, and especially those the skills that needs to be catered locally, it's always challenging for people to find the right kind of platforms where they can sell what they are already good at doing, or just do some freelancing, as you mentioned. I think that is a problem that you kind of like, just seen with your wife or with your friends. Like you initially had that insight, hey, like this is much bigger than the just one or two people, because there is people are always looking for opportunities. Now, if I remember correctly, you shared some of those stories with me. So let's talk about a story like, how did customers reach out to you when they know that like you're the founder of Xoolooloo? I think like, that would also help some of our users.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the striking user was like one of the random people, random guy. I'm not gonna mention his name. So he kind of knocked on me on LinkedIn. Though he's a professional, but he's still having the same problem I'm solving for low skill people. So look, so this has the potential both high skill and low skill. So he's a doctor, and he was looking for somebody who knows machine learning and do research in stem field area. So he's the stem cell research guy, but he doesn't have any background for machine learning. So he wanted to find somebody who knows both. So he was looking around and he didn't find. and he finally kind of found my name, Xoolooloo, on the LinkedIn, and he emailed me. And I finally thought, oh my gosh, who is this guy? And I kind of ignored him for 2 days. And I felt after 2 days, I kind of think, okay, I think I need to talk to him. So I finally talked to him, and he said, Sabir, you are the guy I was looking for you. Where have you been? I said, why? He said that, see, I looked at your Xoolooloo profile, and I looked at your profile, and I think that you're building something that can help me, not only me, like me, people who are searching. So this is how we got connected, and he immediately signed up. And he even told me, Sabir, I'm gonna come back in 1 month to talk to you. And he did actually, because he's desperately looking somebody who knows machine learning and who does stem cell research. So still he didn't find anybody in Nashville. So I hope like people will sign up here in Xoolooloo, and they'll be able to connect together.
That is
So
amazing,
this is
isn't
like
it?
very
Like
professional kind of thing. Yes.
just getting to hear from a potential user who is looking for a solution, and he kind of randomly just finds out about Zululu and the potential it had to connect people, especially I think like no just based on location. Like no, I kind of like looked at your Zululu, and it's very easy to get to connect with people just within based upon your location, and it also shows you how much distant away from those people that are around you based upon those interests that you add. Like it's very simple to add the tags that you're looking for, and also find people with a lot of different common interests. And so now, since like a lot of customers started to sign up on Zululu, what are your next steps that you wanted to help Zululu customers with?
So my next step would be like to make feel user that it's a very easy. For example, like a lot of same similar kind of companies like Thumbtack, Care.com, or Heidi, they have the same professionals in location based, but what they want, what is the difference between them and me? You know what? They do not want to share the professionals information. So for example, if I go to Care.com and want to find somebody, and they do not want to share their phone number, I do not want to connect with the local caregiver. It's because they're the middleman. But the difference is here, okay, all the professionals, all the people's our contact informations are open. So I just want people to connect with them. Once they're connected, then my goal will be achieved.
Mm.
So my next step would be like get as many users as I can from the local perspective, from different skill category, and finally kind of promote their skill set to the wider audience so that people could find them and people could help them, because there are a lot of people at this moment they lost their job, right? So I will be able to find who lost job in my neighborhood. For example, if I see, okay, there is a one guy in my neighborhood who is a landscaper and he doesn't have a job, then I could immediately hire him through my website,
Mm.
right? So my next target actually is like to get as many users and help those people as soon as possible.
Mm. That is great, Shabir, because especially during the pandemic, we have seen the impact that it has made, especially for a lot of local communities. I think we just need to make sure that a lot of people hear about this idea. That's exactly why I wanted to bring you onto this show and kind of like spread the message and be a part of this the story of Zululu and find more customers, because the more customers it has, the better it would be for like a lot of people to connect with. And you
And the
shared
good
some of,
thing,
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
and the good thing is it's totally free.
Yeah.
So they could sign up and they could show their number, they could show their email address, they could show their any kind of contact information. I'm not hiding any kind of thing.
Mhm.
So they will be able to contact with the user directly.
Absolutely. And if you are a user wanting to connect with other people, or if you are somebody who wants to share your skills, like whether it can be just plumbing or any kind of a skill. And even we talked about an example where a customer is a doctor who's a STEM
Stem cell
researcher,
research.
yeah, stem
Yeah.
cell researcher who's looking for a machine learning professional. So there are a lot of potential candidates that we can find based upon the current users or current user base Shabir has already has on Zululu. So it is xoolooloo.com. So definitely check out Zululu and also sign up on the platform so that like you can actually see it for yourself and connect with people just within a short distance from you who share equal interests just like you, and you'll be amazed how many people you might even find whom you never knew that you can meet otherwise. So anything else that you wanted to share with our viewers and listeners, Shabir?
Yeah, so I just want to tell to your viewers and listeners. So as you tell before, so I would say the same thing, that if you feel like you wanted to help somebody nearby, just come to here and tell them to sign up with their skill so that people could find them easily and so that we could help them in this pandemic, because this is our responsibility to keep up our neighborhood good and safe and stable.
That is awesome. So, as you just heard from Shabir, founder of Zululu, definitely sign up and let's do our own help that we could do and support other people who are equally wanting some help as well. So, thank you so much for listening, and please do subscribe for Driven by Doing podcast and YouTube channel. Until next time, keep watching. Thank you so much. Take care.